there, everybody. Good morning to meteorologist Travis Klineski here on this Monday morning. It is the 16th. We have moved into the halfway point of the second half of June now, and got a lot ahead of us here between severe weather the next couple of days. Still pretty warm today. We're going to cool down temporarily, and then big heat on the way down the road towards the upcoming weekend. So plenty to discuss. We actually do have a couple of showers here in northern Nebraska this morning, right around here. I do expect them to kind of fall apart. They're sliding south-southeastward, and I think they'll probably fall apart before they make their way too far south here. But I will tell you right now that obviously Futurecast isn't getting a good grip on what's going on this morning. So as we go through the day, most of us will likely be dry, very warm, a little on the breezy side. And then as we get towards the mid to late afternoon hours, and again, not all forecast models are aligned with how exactly this is going to play out. I don't think much activity is going to happen prior to 3 p.m., but as we get further into the afternoon, towards the end of the afternoon, showers and thunderstorms fire up. Once they get going, they're probably going to explode and get pretty strong pretty quickly here. We're going to be looking at initially maybe a couple of isolated cells that could produce some large hail and possibly even isolated tornadoes. But the threat quickly will turn, after an hour or two, will quickly turn towards damaging wind gusts, and then maybe some locally heavy rain in spots here as we push further into the evening hours. Now, maybe later in the night, the severe weather threat comes down, but I still think there's a chance we could see rain and thunderstorms. I will tell you right now, there are some forecast models that are much more widespread with the rain and thunderstorms than this one is right here. You can see this one here doesn't have as much rain for everybody, but there are going to be some places that might stay dry, but I think a large part of our area is going to get at least something out of this. Now, again, as we get towards tomorrow morning, there may be still some rain and thunderstorms left around during the day tomorrow. But as we get towards the end of the day tomorrow, once again, we focus towards the threat of severe storms. This time, it would especially be focused more towards the west in these areas here for severe weather. Now, most of us are going to be cooler tomorrow on the backside of a frontal boundary. But with that front kind of stalled out in southwestern areas, this is going to be the area with the best chance of severe storms. Those will slide southeastward, so I think it's these areas here with the best chance of severe weather. When there's still a smaller chance farther to the north, but not as good of a chance. Locally heavy rainfall is something we'll also have to keep an eye on Tuesday night through Wednesday morning here. Eventually, this rain will move out of here on Wednesday as the day goes on, and severe weather will be a possibility. Now, but not as much of a chance as we head into the day on Wednesday. So severe weather-wise, most of us under some sort of a risk of severe storms. We've got a slight risk of severe weather for almost all of us, with a marginal risk in southeast Nebraska, but an enhanced risk of severe storms across parts of central and western Nebraska. The biggest threat, damaging wind gusts. We could see those as high as 60 to 75 miles per hour, but early on especially, maybe some 1+ inch diameter hail, maybe 2-inch diameter hail in spots, and maybe an isolated tornado or two. Here's a look at those threats. Here's the hail threat. Again, focused especially more towards the north with the early storms. The wind threat's a little bit bigger, especially after the first hour or two. And then tornado threat's not high. It's a lower tornado threat, but there is a chance of an isolated tornado or two up towards the north. Now, tomorrow the threat is a little bit lower, but it's still there, especially focused towards the west and southwest, and then down here to the far south and southeast. Lower chances the farther north and northeast that should go, and then not much of a threat of severe storms. In fact, I didn't really build that graphic, so I didn't mean to show that to you, but yeah, not much of a threat of severe storms. Maybe some weaker showers and isolated thunderstorms early in the day. High temperatures today. Still going to be very warm, upper 80s, low to mid 90s out there. These are still above average for this time of the year. Tonight we're down to the 60s, a few 50s out towards the west. Tomorrow, one of the rare cool days ahead. We're going to cool, and when I say cool, cooler, I should say. We're going to be talking about 70s and 80s. Now, anybody that gets some extra clouds and rain around, that could hold your temperatures down a little bit more. But right now, we're going to go with mid to upper 70s, low to mid 80s in most spots. 50s and 60s for lows Tuesday night and a Wednesday morning. Wednesday, another day where it's not going to be too hot yet. Low and mid 80s for most of us. So those temperatures are close to, if not still slightly below average. Then we start to turn the other direction once again. It's upper 50s and low to mid 60s tomorrow or Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Thursday, the heat begins to build back in. We're back up into the 90s. It's gonna get hotter. Friday and Saturday look like the two worst days. There's gonna be wind with it. It's gonna be hot and sunny heading towards this weekend. So, for the Tri-Cities area, 3-day forecast. We've gone with the weather alert day for today for that threat of severe storms, mainly into the evening hours. It's about a 50% chance we'll see rain and thunderstorms. A better chance after midnight through tomorrow morning, then a lower chance during the day, but then picking back up tomorrow night. I did not include the Tri-Cities under a weather alert day for tomorrow. While we still could see severe weather, the chances might be better west and southwest of the Tri-Cities area. The rain will move out Wednesday morning. Wednesday afternoon, we're back to the low 80s. And then from there on out, it is sunny, it is breezy, and then windy and hot. It gets pretty toasty already Thursday, but we are up near 100 degrees on Friday and Saturday. I'm going to go with a weather alert day both Friday and Saturday. Yes, I know we get hotter weather than this in the summertime, but this is our hottest weather of the season so far here, and heat index values could be over 100 degrees. It's not going to be really pleasant going into this weekend as we say goodbye to the spring season on Friday, say hello to summer on Saturday. Sunday's still pretty warm and windy out there, but then we will transition back to a wetter weather pattern with more rain and thunderstorms and potentially some much cooler weather returning as we get into early next week. North Platte, you've got a big week ahead. Now, first off, I went with a weather alert day both today and tomorrow for the threat of some severe storms. Locally heavy rainfall tomorrow as well, especially tomorrow evening. Then Wednesday, we're warm but not hot yet. Wednesday, by the way, the beginning of Nebraska Land Days. Those that are watching in North Platte know it very well. Nebraska Land Days goes on all the way through basically almost the end of the month here. And of course, this weekend's a big weekend at Nebraska Land Days, and you've got plenty of heat ahead. So I went with a weather alert day both Friday and Saturday for those hot and breezy conditions out there. So if you are out there celebrating and having a good time, whether you're watching a rodeo or concert or whatever you'd be doing out there, parade, anything in North Platte this weekend, Friday and Saturday, make sure you have plenty of fluids with you, water or the sports drinks like the Gatorades and the the Powerades, or whatever you may have. But a lot of people are partaking the alcohol. Sure, that's fine, but make sure you are also having the good liquids, especially during the hottest part of the day. And AC, get in the AC, get in the building when you can. Just enjoy a little air conditioning. We start to cool down on Sunday as it cools down then into next week, and we will start to see maybe some rain and thunderstorms return to the forecast. Now, the Climate Prediction Center still has us in that above average range next week. I'm iffy on that right now. I think we could actually get in on some of this cooler air right here as it starts to move in. I do think we will be in the above average for moisture. I think we have a decent shot next week of seeing some moisture. Let's show you the European model first here. This is going to go through the next couple of days here. First off, again, there's our storms coming tonight, tomorrow morning, and then during the day tomorrow, still a chance of rain and thunderstorms with a widespread threat than tomorrow night, right there. That will clear out early Wednesday. We're not going to see much the rest of the week. There's a small chance, I believe it was, Thursday night up north. But otherwise, pretty dry right through the weekend. And then as we get into next week, we'll start to return those rain and thunderstorm chances to our forecast. And along with that, some much cooler weather will start to return as well to the forecast. So hopefully a little more wet weather and some cooler temperatures. I would look forward to that next week. That sounds pretty darn good. All right, here's the GFS model. Later today and into tonight, there's the thunderstorms, some of which could linger into tomorrow. Maybe a more widespread chance tomorrow night there. Still some lingering into Wednesday. I think it's holding on to it a little too long. The GFS is on Wednesday. I think most of it should be out for sure. I think by noon, most of us will be dried out. And then, of course, it should be mostly dry the rest of this week. Not a lot of activity. We're going to be look at those strong southerly winds. Tri-Cities area. Now, out west in North Platte, notice the winds aren't quite as strong there. It'll be breezy, but the Tri-Cities and eastward here and southward, we could see wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The winds are going to be very strong those 3 days. A lot of heat and also some pretty strong winds. It might feel like a blow dryer. Then here comes the next chances of rain Sunday night and a Monday, and the cooler weather to follow with those chances of rain. Now, I know that the GFS is not as aggressive with the cooler air. Notice how the winds are still southerly. It actually wants to keep the heat in place for us. So the GFS and the European model are not in agreement completely when it comes to if we'll cool down much or not at all. But they both agree that we could have a decent chance of rain and thunderstorms during that time frame. All right, now a real quick look at the temperature pattern here ahead of us here in the next 10 days ahead. Again, very warm today. We're going to cool back a little bit tomorrow and Wednesday, but then from there on out, it gets hotter on Thursday, big time heat Friday, Saturday. And then Sunday, here comes the shot of cooler air starting Sunday, but more so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're going to feel that cooler air a lot more as next week goes on. Now, again, the GFS isn't as cool next week. So, again, very warm today. And then we're going to cool off Tuesday, Wednesday. And there comes the heat building in. Friday and Saturday is the worst of it. Sunday may be a little cooler right there. But Sunday wants to keep us pretty hot still. And notice how it doesn't completely want to cool us down into next week. Well, everybody, I want to thank you all for watching on this Monday morning. I'll be back with you on Tuesday with all the latest. Until then, take care and God bless. Bye.